second longest win streak for Drexel in program history against Delaware. We led wire to wire for all 40 minutes. That's another tidbit there. And Grace O'Neal, 11 points tonight on 4 for 5 shooting, 3 for 3 from long range. We'll open up with a statement from Coach, and then we'll open the questions to Grace after that.
Of course, happy to get our first CAA win at home against Delaware, who always is a rival for us, and obviously it's always a possession game with them. So to stay composed when we need it to, especially the last 4 minutes of the game, and come out with a win. Really proud of this group. To kick off the CAA season with a win here at home.
Grace, great game. Talking about Delaware and their intensity, they really were intense with the press and their matchup zone in the half court, and you guys had a tough time handling it. How did you guys approach that to close out the game and just avoid turnovers against that really tough defense?
Yes, I think we made some really good adjustments. We changed up what we ran against the zone, which I think was a really good move and helped us take care of the ball in the end there. And then about their physicality, I think they're just probably the most physical team that we've played all year. So we kind of knew that coming in and just played to hopefully match that.
And you ended up with 11 points. You hit the big three at the end. Delaware closes it to a 2-point game, and then you go back-to-back with Kara, who you guys each had 3 3-point shots. Talk about your offensive game. I know you don't really look to shoot a lot, but it seems like recently when you're getting open, you're looking for your shot. Talk about your approach offensively.
Yes, I would say the shots that I had today, I was ready to shoot. I think that we made some nice extra passes. I think we had 17 assists on 20 shots. Mm-hmm. So I think we moved the ball really well and just being ready to shoot.
And beating Delaware to start conference play. You get your first conference win, which has to feel good, but beating Delaware has to feel especially good, especially for you. You've been a part of this rivalry for a few years now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're a great team, but it's always really fun to beat them.
Anything for Grace? Anything for Grace? Okay.
Thank you.
Grace, go like that.
Yeah. Well, good. We can segue since this was their last appearance here as a CAA team. Has there been a discussion, because two teams have been in other conferences together long before the CAA, so has there been talk to still keep this thing going annually?
Yeah, we were talking about that actually, so I think that's something we're going to talk about when when the season ends, but I think it's something we're both looking, it makes sense to do. We're rivals no matter if in the same conference or not, and we're so close by, so Sarah and I were talking about that before the game. I do see that something in the future that will continue.
I think you could tell from Delaware's approach, they just did not want to let Amaris get going. She plays all 40 minutes, but 4 of 10, still ends up with 12 points. But you get everyone to score. You get some bench contributions, Kara and Grace knocking down threes. How huge is that to have the support from those other players to not leave the scoring load on Amaris alone?
I think that's something we prepare for when we start conference, because obviously Amaris has shown, especially out of conference, what she can do scoring-wise for us. So you have to anticipate as you go into these games that they're going to find ways and to keep her from getting the ball, from getting easy looks. And when that happens, you have to have the other players on the floor ready to score. And I was really happy because I think I knew going into this game we were going to need contributions from somebody else on the floor, and we certainly were, saw that from Kara tonight and Grace and Lane McGurk off the bench. Just really happy with the overall distribution of the scoring. I think we're going to need to continue to do that if we want it to be successful each game.
And, speaking of Kara, she had kind of a slow start to her season, first season here at Drexel, but even you see it in the Florida State game and carrying into the Lebanon Valley game, you're starting to see that confidence that we saw at Holy Cross for 4 years. Talk about what you've seen really the last couple of games for her and her shooting from the outside and just her overall confidence on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge for us moving forward. And I try to remind everybody, as much as you have someone who's in their 5th year and has played basketball in college basketball for 4 years, it's a hard thing to come to a program where there's been success and kind of find your way, and I think you can only do it. You can say you can like each other off the court and have chemistry, but on the court chemistry has to be done just by playing games in those moments. And I think you're starting to see that come together for her and really knowing where she can get her looks. And, trust me, know what she's capable of doing. So me as a coach, I was trying to find ways to make sure she was comfortable and getting looks that I know she can knock down.
And you only go with a 7-player rotation tonight, but Lane McGurk was huge, especially in the first half. 8 points off the bench, and I'm sure that's something that you're going to look for in conference play, to have that spark off the bench from Lane.
Yes, certainly Lane is someone who we're looking for the same type of thing. Each game she's got to be a spark off the bench where she's capable of doing that. So I hope that this really kind of started that little bit of fire for her, where we'll see that continue to grow each game.
And a lot of close games tonight in the CAA. You get your first win. You start off with the homestand. How big is that to get win number one, just to start off conference play on the right foot?
It's huge. To be at home, I mean, obviously it's a place we're comfortable, but to do that and do it against Delaware, who, again, a very talented team, a lot of grad students, a lot of fifth-year players, so they know how to play basketball, and they certainly challenge us at a high level. So, as I said, we're going to see that every night in the CAA, no matter who we're facing. So to start off at home and be able to handle that and come out with a win, I'm really happy.
In prepping for them, this might have been a little different because they've had their personnel problems.
Mm-hmm.
So was this you didn't know what you were actually going to get, how many players, how deep they can go, not go, et cetera?
Yeah, I think we were, preparing, the 6 or 7 they've had have been the ones that key players for them. And I always say that most teams do, you see some, even us tonight, we played 7 people in our rotations. I think you often see that with teams, especially in conference. You see the subbing tighten up a little bit. So, but the thing is, watching them play, that same 5 have been playing and playing at a high level. And obviously with Cousins and Wilson out there, they're certainly so capable of doing what they do. That's something, I hope, when we see them again, that we do a better job containing. But they're great players, and they did a nice job for Delaware tonight. But I thought overall, you're prepping for maybe a smaller group, and maybe you can do things to wear them out. But, I think that we handled some of that and really put them in a position that, a couple, even if it's foul trouble, we got to the foul line a lot. I thought that was really important for us tonight.
Any other questions? Perfect. Awesome.
All right,
Thanks, Coach.
thanks.